So now we will take another problem on finding the moment of resistance and the other things. A slightly different problem. In this case, a cantilever beam has been given. So a RC cantilever beam 230 mm by 475 mm effective depth is reinforced with 830 mm square of steel. Now over here what has been done is they have directly calculated the amount of steel and they have given us that the total amount of steel present in this beam is 830 mm square. This much amount of steel has been provided in the tension zone. Please remember, since it is a cantilever beam, tension is at the top, compression is at the bottom. So 830 mm square of steel has been provided in the top region. Unlike in the previous cases, we used to have simply supported beam, so tension would be at the bottom. So over here for this cantilever beam, 830 mm square of steel reinforcement has been provided in the tension zone, that is in the top. If the effective span of this beam, of the cantilever beam, is 1.5 meters, determine the safe concentrated load the beam can support at its free end. That means without failing, the beam can take this much amount of load at its free end under working condition. Working condition, service condition, normal condition, everything is the same. Sometimes we use the term working condition, sometimes service condition, sometimes normal condition. All this means the same. Use M20 concrete and Fe500 steel. Assume effective cover as 25 mm. Please note, when I have mentioned this working condition, I have told that it can be also named as normal condition or service condition. The difference over here is when the term ultimate is used. If ultimate is used, that means that 1.5 factor is to be taken into consideration. Now in working condition, 1.5 is not to be taken into consideration when we are using the load factor. Load is multiplied to the working load to get the ultimate load. So over here, please note, determine safe concentrated load the beam can support at its free end under working condition. That means this is not the ultimate load, this is the normal or service load. Please note this part. Now coming to the solution. As usual, we will compile all the data what has been given to us. So width is 230 mm, depth, that is the effective depth, is given to be 475 mm. The area of steel, the best part is that they have already calculated and given to us. Area of steel is 830 mm square. M20 concrete and Fe500 steel is used. The effective span is 1.5 meter. It's a cantilever beam and the effective cover D dash is given to be 25 mm. As usual, we will start with the first step in a way of calculating the value of XU by D from IS 456. Now refer clause G1.1a from page number 96. XU by D is equal to 0.87 F by AST upon 0.36 FCK BD. So this has been given over there. So XU by D 0.87 comes down as it is. Fy in this case has been given as 500. AST has been given as 830. They have already calculated over here. Please note, till this previous problem is to calculate the AST. In this case, AST has been directly given to us. They have already calculated. Then 0.36 FCK, the grade of concrete is 20. The width of the beam is 230 and the depth of the beam is 475. Now when we solve this, we get XU by D, the depth of the actual neutral axis to the effective depth as 0.46. When we solve this, we get the value as 0.46. Then we go to the next step. As usual, the second step is check the value of XU max by D from IS 456 2000, clause 38.1, note page 70. Now on this, XU by D, the XU max by D has been given with reference to the steel, different types of steel, because it is related to the steel. So for Fe500, we find that XU max by D is 0.46. Now observe one thing over here. In this problem, we have the actual depth of neutral axis as 0.46. The maximum one is also 0.46. So the actual depth of neutral axis divided by effective depth, is equal to XU max by D. The actual one, the ratio of the actual depth of the neutral axis to the effective depth is now equal to the ratio of maximum depth of neutral axis to the effective depth. Now, third step, compare the values of XU by D and XU max by D. We find that both are equal. This is one of the first times when we are finding that something is new. We are finding over here that the depth of neutral axis to the effective depth is equal to the maximum depth of the neutral axis or the limiting depth of the neutral axis to the effective depth ratio. So now what happens? If there is a slight mistake over here, if XU by D is equal to XU max by D, if this is equal, like in this case, there is a typing error over here. If XU by D is equal to XU max by D, the beam is a balanced section. Now in this case, the answer is the beam is a balanced section. So if it is a balanced section, what does the code say? The code says use IS 456 clause G1.1c, page 96 to get the value of mu. Let us have a look at what exactly has been written there. If the value of XU by D is equal to the limiting value, XU by D is equal to the limiting value, that is XU max by D, the moment of resistance of the section is given by the following expression. That is mu limiting is equal to 0.36 XU max by D into bracket 1 minus 0.42 XU max by D into bracket BD square FCK. Please note that this equation we had already derived earlier from the compression controlled failure. Whenever there is compression controlled failure, whenever the failure is due to compression, crushing, that is crushing of concrete, or from the concrete side, mu limiting is given by that. So that is the condition which we find over here. So let us substitute the values. Mu limiting is equal to 0.36, XU max by D is 0.46 into bracket 1 minus 0.42 into XU max by D is 0.46 multiplied by B is 230, D is 475 and FCK is 20. So when I solve this, I get mu limiting as the maximum bending moment which comes on this beam or resisted by this beam rather, mu limiting from the internal forces is 138.92 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. The maximum bending moment which is resisted from inside is 138.92 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. As I told earlier, Newton mm is because all the values, now this is a ratio, this is taken in mm, this is taken in mm, this is Newton per mm square. So the answer is in Newton mm. Now alternately, mu can be found from G1.1b only in case of balance section. In the case of balance section, the value of mu also can be found out from G1.1b. Let us have a look at that. Use IS 456 2000 G1.1b page 96 to get the value of mu. Please note this is only in case of balance section, because we understand that in balance section both the materials, the steel as well as concrete, reach their yield stress together. They reach their maximum capacity together. So we can find out the maximum bending moment even from this. That is the ultimate bending moment which it can resist even from the tension control side. So mu is equal to 0.87, Fy is 500, AST has been given to us as 830, D is 475, bracket 1 minus AST is 830, Fy is 500, B is 230, D, that is the effective depth, is 475 and the grade of concrete is 20. Now when we solve this, we get the value of mu as 138.92 into 10 raised to 6. So what happens over here is, whether we find from the compression side or the tension side, the value comes same. The value is equal. Obviously it has to be equal, because we understand that in a balance condition, the force C, that is a compressive force C, will be equal to the tensile force T. The compressive force, the force in compression, will be equal to the force in tension. That's exactly what we get over here, and since both are same, the moment resisted by the beam can be found from both the compression side as well as the tension side. So C is equal to T, and the bending moment also can be found easily. When I'm saying C is equal to T, by taking the maximum yield stress. Now in the case of underinforced, we cannot use G1.1C because concrete has not got yielded to maximum. The value will come much higher. The value obtained will be much higher. The value of C obtained over here through that equation, or the mu obtained, will be much higher. So that would be a wrong result. So only in case of a balanced section we can use either of the formulae. Preferably the code says use G1.1C and get the answer. We have seen that mu obtained from compression control failure is equal to mu obtained from tension control failure with the maximum yield strains and stresses only in case of balance section. Otherwise, mu has to be both equal, whether it is underinforced, overinforced. Mu from compression side will always be equal to mu from the tension side, depending upon how much stress is existing over there in steel as well as concrete. Mu from any of the sides have to be equal, but in case of balance section it has to be equal in both the directions because both have reached their yield stress together. So that is what we observe over here. Now going further, moment of resistance can be found as 138.92 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm divided by 1.5. This 1.5 is the load factor. So moment of resistance is equal to 92.62 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. Converting this into kilonewton meter, we divide 92.62 into 10 raised to 6 from Newton to kilonewton by 1000, from mm to meters by another 1000. So 92.62 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm, as in the previous cases, becomes equal to 92.62 kilonewton meter. So 92.62 kilonewton meter, we have got the answer. Now what has been asked to us is to find the point load which can be applied at the free end. How much is the point load which we can safely apply at the free end and the beam will not collapse? In order to know that, first we have to know what are the different forces which are coming on this. Since no other force has been mentioned, we only understand that the loads acting on the beam are its self weight and the point load which is acting at the free end. So self weight of the beam will be existing and its point load at the free end would be there, which we have been asked to calculate. Now bending moment from the self weight is UDL over the entire span. It is of the same cross section throughout, so it is UDL over the entire span. UDL for a cantilever, the maximum bending moment is at the fixed end and that is given by WL squared by 2. This we have already studied in materials and structures subject earlier. So bending moment from the self weight is UDL over the entire span. It is given by WL squared by 2. Now this W is the cross section of the beam multiplied by 25. Cross section of the beam, whatever is the cross section, take it in meters, multiplied by 25, we get W as 2.875 multiplied by the span is 1.5 square by 2. So the bending moment from the self weight condition comes to 3.23. Now please understand, total moment of resistance, total internal moment is this much, 92.62. Bending moment from self weight is this much. So total is 92.62, out of which it has to resist bending moment due to self weight equal to 3.23. So that means the balance bending moment which will be remaining would be a difference between the two. Let us have a look at that. Now bending moment due to point load at the free end, for a cantilever, point load at the free end, we have seen that it is W into L, capital W into the effective span. So bending moment due to point load at the free end is capital W multiplied by 1.5. Now over here, as I was discussing, moment of resistance, that is internal moment, which moment of resistance, internal resistance to counteract the external acting bending moment, that moment of resistance will be equal to, in the force equilibrium condition, will be equal to bending moment from the self weight plus bending moment due to point load at the free end. total bending moment whichever is acting will be equal to the moment of resistance. So this we have got as 92.62 kilonewton meter, that is equal to the first component is 3.23 plus the second component is W into 1.5. This from the right hand side, we move on the left hand side, it becomes negative. So 92.62 minus 3.23 equal to W into 1.5. This comes equal to 89.39. So 89.39 is equal to W into 1.5. Now since this is multiplied, this comes below over here. So 89.39 divided by 1.5, W is equal to 59.59 kilonewton, which tells me that apart from its own self weight, the point load which can be applied at the free end cannot exceed 59.59 kilonewton. Please note, it cannot be 60 kilonewton. It can be 59 kilonewton. It can be 59.5 kilonewton, but this cannot be 59.6 kilonewton also. Any increase in this will increase the stress in concrete. Since it is a balanced section, the stress in concrete will be increased. That will be a brittle failure. So load, maximum load which can be applied on at the free end is 59.59 kilonewton. This is in the service condition, because we have already divided by 1.5 to get the moment of resistance. This is the service load, the normal load or the working load. So the point load which is permitted at the free end is 59.59 kilonewton, or safely we can say 59 kilonewton.